Thank you. So welcome this evening and welcome to anybody who's watching the recording. My name's Jenny Cassidy and we have another attendee. This is primarily, as Helen mentioned, we did a UK presentation last night, but it's much more complicated for UK homeschooling families as regards qualifications in this country and everything. But of course, we do an American system and things that Americans are well used to. So we thought we would do a separate American presentation so we can skip out all the things that aren't relevant to the Americans. Just first of all, quickly, this is my family, the younger version and the older version. We've actually, the two little ones you see at the front, our youngest, excuse me, are twins, and they're literally just finishing high school in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we're very close to finishing. And we have our two of our older children live in the States, and we have 7 grandchildren so far, which is exciting, apart from they live very far away, because, as you can tell by my accent, I live in England. But never mind. Helen, quick introduction.
Hi, so we've actually both got 5 boys and 2 girls. There's an extra one here. My son-in-law's here as well. So, and he's an American. He's the one third from the right. He's an American. 3 of mine have gone to university in America. Well, actually, 2 have gone to university in America. One's actually the one second from the left, is actually getting married to an American next year, and the one on the right is going off to Florida in August. So we have it's kind of like we have both of us have lots of American connections and family in America. So.
Yeah, interesting.
So what we're going to try and explain is kind of what, our view, or, it's just a bit more about high school planning, which I'm sure you will know some bits about, but some bits that maybe new to you.
Yeah, we tend to talk about the 3 areas which, for Americans, I'm sure you're familiar with most of them. The high school diploma, of course, and APs and the SAT we like to cover. So first of all, we'll just talk about the high school diploma, which I feel is a bit crazy that I'm talking about it as a non-American. But we've done a high school diploma, both of us, with all our children. We thought it made sense for homeschooling much more than what they do in schools here. And I'm sure you know a lot more about it probably than I do. But of course, you've got your minimum requirements, which do vary by state. I don't know if every homeschooler in America knows that, how they can vary, but approximately 23 credits, 1 credit being 120 hours of study, half credits, of course, and can be used as well. And you can have an honours credit, which is typically 140 hours of study. I don't know how, I would presume every American knows these things, but we've been told that perhaps it's not quite so obvious. You could be gone through the school system, but maybe not familiar with those kind of things, because teaching your own children, you have to think about things in a different way, I guess. So AP courses, of course, can fulfill core high school credit requirements. And that's what we're excited about, that we can really help people strengthen their transcripts for their teens, graduating from high school, and just really having kids with a standout transcript because they have APs on it. Yeah, just quickly, again, I'm sure you're familiar with, here's just an example of a 4-year transcript of a example child and their list of subjects and the credits that they have, either 1 or half credits. That was another page where it zoomed in a little bit. And what the grades that they have and the GPA that they've achieved, the grade point average at the end of that year. And then, of course, you have the grade point average of the 4 years combined to say what your high school diploma is like. That's so different than the UK system, where it's so based on exams. this makes so much more sense to me. um, and This is just an example of somebody's transcript with APs on there. You can see they've taken some subjects. I think one in 10th grade, two in 11th grade. It looks like, oh, they've got a 4 in 12th grade. That is very adventurous, and they've got some honours courses as well. So that's quite an impressive transcript there.
Just a bit.
I know. Would that be plausible to do 4 APs in grade
Hmm.
12? Do you think, Helen?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that'd be
really
plausible.
fun.
You have to be
Yeah,
bright though.
because they haven't done much else, I guess. They've got a fine arts in honours and they've got a health. So yeah, I guess you could.
And then the APs part of it. Just going to explain what the APs part of it is. And then there's just lots of quotes. We've got lots more on our website, just explaining about the sort of merit of AP classes as opposed to honours or dual enrollment. So, so APs are just more prestigious. Colleges, more academic colleges, seem to prefer them to. So obviously, lots of people are now doing dual enrollment, but APs do seem to be like the gold standard. They seem to be the advantage, or if you're applying for scholarships, and that's why we do them. My son has got a full tuition scholarship, and the older one got a full ride. The one before that got a full ride. I've had sort of three that've had really good scholarships to America using and I don't know it's entirely to do with the AP exams we did, but that was certainly my motivations. My youngest one, we've done 5 AP exams, for that purpose, like to try and get a scholarship. And it's not the only thing, but I think you've got to have more than that. But it certainly helps to have if you're trying to get scholarships, which I'm presuming everyone wants scholarships because it's jolly expensive going to college. Then you've got to have something. You need something to sort of stand out. So APs is what we've done. So this is what we've done. We've done Mox Learning. The College Board is the exam body. You probably know it's a 2 or 3 hour exam. It's in May, the first 2 weeks of May. Just one paper. Half of it's multiple choice, and half of it is essay or free response, depending on what subject it is. It's done on something called Blue Book, so you bring your laptop with you. Depending on the subject, so some of the math subjects, still part of it is handwritten, but it's often going to be on the computer. There's going to be 3 or 4 centres in the UK the next year. Just yesterday we actually found out about another one. It takes 1 year to do, which is a big plus for UK students because we have an alternative that takes 2 years. You sometimes have to have done something beforehand. So if you want to do an AP in French or biology or physics, something like that, then yes, you do have to have done something before. You have to have done it beforehand. But if you're doing human geography or economics, you don't, or you don't have to have done economics beforehand. You don't have to have done geography beforehand. English, obviously, you'd expect that you would have done some English. So it depends on the subject whether you've got to have done something beforehand. And it can also be so you've got your high school, you've got your AP, and it can get high school credit, and it can also get college credit. So my son that's going off to university, he's going to get college credit for his APs that he's done, and it can be used internationally. It's recognised all over the world, an AP. And we are approved by the College Board, which just means that you can put AP on your transcript. How kind of what people sometimes do is not kind of starting it early enough, kind of like waiting till kind of grade 12 before you start thinking about it, and perhaps doing too many, so you don't actually do very well in any of them. It's better to do fewer and get fives or 4s and 5s rather than doing too many of them. Make sure you've done, if you want to do AP in biology, make sure you've done some biology beforehand. And just to kind of try and understand that it is, some places give you a 5 credit for a AP, depending on who you're doing it with, your transcript, but quite often it will receive a weight of 5. And this is what it leads to. This is like, imagine your child with a very strong transcript, lots of confidence, and showing something to colleges that is impressive and is going to be a standout. And that's what we're trying to do.
This is just the list of courses that we've got running this coming school year. We've been running a number of years now. We started with just a couple of courses, and just a bit of background that Helen and I realised that even though we're not in America, we realised that the AP was recognised at universities here for university entrance. So we started to help other families to get them, and Helen taught a class or two, and then we got other teachers, and it just kind of naturally evolved that we wanted to provide more and more subjects and help families here. And of course, we're doing something that Americans can benefit from too. So yeah, that's our list for this coming school year. Just if it's of interest, that's just the timetable that we've set up at the moment. We try and have them all separate so the class doesn't overlap. The times are always a little bit tricky because of the different time zones, obviously. And here, so we don't have anything in the mornings here, purely so we can be internationally available. And we do. We have people from all over the place, and teachers actually internationally as well.
So we have how it works is you've got 30 classes, Zoom classes a year, and then you get a book list. Yeah, that'd be a bit horrific, wouldn't it? You get graded homework and Google Classroom and access to AP Classroom. You do practice papers, email contact with the teacher, and regular sort of feedback. We feedback at usually after about week 5, we feedback, and then week 10 and week 20. Because if you're not on it from the get-go, you just get further and further behind. So the kids have got to be on it from the get-go. Otherwise, 'cause it's only a year's course. So if you're not on it, then they it's just so hard to catch up. So you've very much got to be on it. Yeah. So how our AP Classroom works, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but the kids get like a whole bank of resources, like videos and a lot of stuff that's self-graded, and a lot of stuff that I've got to go in and grade on AP Classroom. It's a whole sort of interface that they have many resources on there that you can use. So we use that alongside Google Classroom. For my subject, I also use Khan Academy as well. So there's many different kind of places, and so the Google Classroom is like the central part, and then you sort of like say go and do this on here and this on here. It sounds very complicated, and it's definitely, when I initially set it up, the kids are definitely like, well, there's a lot going on, but I don't know, the age they are, that within a week or so, it's just fine. Everyone's very familiar with it.
And then there's, excuse me, then there's the SAT, which again, I'm sure you guys know more about than I initially did. I just have to move the screen. Yeah, of course, you've got your maths, reading comprehension, and grammar. And it's just one exam, about $70. It's all digitally done, but at an exam centre, of course. And there used to be an essay involved, but no longer. You get your results in 3 weeks. I imagine you guys are familiar with that. We have been doing an SAT prep maths course. We probably will have that going again. I think it's the math, I should say, that usually needs the most help. What makes our APs different? So, of course, there are other providers. I'm sure there's many providers, but I think a big part of what we do, and what was really the inspiration of doing what we do, is we wanted to have Christian teachers. We wanted teachers that we would be confident to have our kids with, but particularly not every course, but there will be particular courses that it's really evident. The English literature, for example, has a whole book list for the APs that you can choose from, and some of them you wouldn't want to read them yourself and might have your kids read them. So of course we have the opportunity for the teacher will pick the ones that she knows. So she's a great teacher. She's American, um, and things like that. So many different worldviews that we might not have the same way of thinking about, and it comes through some courses more than others. But it was really important to us that we would have very committed Christian teachers. Our reviews that we've been having coming in with more and more as every year goes by is great to be getting great reviews, and the results have been great, and you can see on the website. I'm sorry, I hope you can't see those messages coming up right now. To get them off. Here's our pricing, and we do have a payment plan, which is great now, and there is a discount code there. If anybody's here or watching the recording, you get a chance to use that code if you wanted to book in on any courses. Also, I don't know if it's relevant to you or not, if you know anybody, we are starting to work with more small schools that maybe just don't have the teacher base to offer an array of different classes, that we're collaborating with small Christian schools so that we can, the kids can take our online classes in the school setting as well. So it's great to be able to provide that. Also, very exciting, we're actually sponsoring a whole school in Malawi with Mary's Meals. A daily meal in a place of education is what Mary's Meals do. If you haven't heard about them, they're really worth looking up. This picture here is the teacher, or one of the teachers from the school. I believe she was educated herself in the school. And the enrollment has gone up since last year, now that they're getting a daily Mary's Meals there. And we're hoping that our enrollment will go up at the same rate as the school's enrollment will go up, because we're literally feeding every child a meal every day there. So every enrolled class, year-long class, an AP class, is going to feed another child, which is wonderful to be able to help. We do have some enrichment classes. This is just an example of what we had in January. There'll probably be some different ones coming up in September. If you're on our mailing list, you'll hear about those. Usually start them in September. We have got one lined up for sure, is the Art of Parliamentary Debate, a great English guy who's going to talk about the political system in the UK and in the States, and along with doing public speaking and debating. So he's great. He's got a lot of experience and he's excited about that. So it'd be fun to have an international group of students to do that one. And that's it. That's the end of our presentation. But we're open to questions and everything, and happy to chat. Helen offers her time very kindly, and she does just free 15-minute slots if you want to talk individually about your own child. She's very happy to do that. She's a bit of an expert. And there's the website if you want to. Well, it's johnwattslearning.com, but there's a QR code there if it's handy. So thank you. Any questions? We've got such a small group. I guess we can have our chat.
Can you explain the difference between the dual enrollment and AP, besides just with high school credit?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious as to your experience.
Yeah, so with dual enrollment, I mean, we don't do it. I mean, you might know as much as I do about it. I mean, you just do. There seems to be multiple people that do dual enrollment. Many like colleges or universities that do dual enrollment. Often, if a student is actually going to college, they might offer dual enrollment for a year. The price of it seems to vary. I mean, sometimes it seems to be free, sometimes it seems to be more costly. Yeah, I mean, you get, and you also can put the credit on your transcript and also put the credit, like, it's like a credit off your course. So that's the same. It just seems to be, from what I've kind of read about it, is that the AP is more likely to get you a scholarship. It's more likely to, it's like more prestigious, I suppose. In terms of going to a British university, I mean, dual enrollment doesn't work for getting into a British university. So in terms of international universities, APs are definitely more prestigious. But if you want to go to an American university, dual enrollment it certainly works, and that's why lots of people are doing it. And it can certainly be cheaper, especially you can get a free option. But yeah, I suppose we're calling this, or we think of it in terms of the AP advantage, that it's like it seems to be better from what people say, and more prestigious colleges want it. So, but yeah, dual enrollment is certainly a thing that a lot of people are doing.
So that's more, but that's a good distinction, I guess, between the international universities and American universities.
But American universities will accept both. They'll accept dual enrollment and APs. I suppose the dual enrollment isn't standardized. I suppose that's one of the things about it. That it's not that you could do dual enrollment in one place and then another place, and it's not going to be, no one's going to know the standard of it, which is why an AP is regarded, higher than the dual enrollment.
Do you all have you considered doing any tutoring for kids not taking your classes but are taking APs, but could do like a once a week sort of summary?
Yeah,
I just have a rising 10th grader, but she's taking 2 AP classes next year. So
which subjects?
European history and biology.
Sure. Yeah. So both of those, we've got teachers that I think would be interested in, or would be available to do some private tutoring. So yeah, certainly. Yeah, we'd be.
We did set up a whole system that we would have. A lot of our teachers are open to private tutoring, but it got very complicated, and we said we'll officially do it maybe next year once we get up a really good system going. But they are, unofficially there. A lot of them are available, and we just arranged it.
We've done our physics and calculus teacher. He's done quite a lot of it for us, and the English teacher has. So yeah, we have done it, and we certainly would. Yeah, we would be able to set that up.
Okay. Yeah, I would be interested in that specifically.
Okay. Yeah.
The history one, I think she's pretty good with biology, but and taking 2, I think.
Yeah. We have a medical doctor that's doing our biology, so I still haven't quite worked out why he doesn't want to actually be a medical doctor, why he wants to teach biology, AP biology. He's teaching AP biology and AP music theory for us, but he's actually a medical doctor as well. So he's one of these annoyingly, multi-talented people that just seems to be great at everything. So
and they homeschool their own kids too, right?
They do. Yeah, they do.
And they teach French and
they teach French. He's moving to France as well. So it's
right.
Yeah, but no, he's great. Yeah, so he'd totally be interested in the biology
capacity, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you see any of your kids going to, either of you, to university in Europe, or do you think you'll be back in the States when they're at that age, or have you got plans for the future? Are you going to be somewhere else?
Yeah, I think. I don't know about you, but most military people don't really know.
Oh, sorry, we can't hear you, Christy.
Oh, I was going to say, we often joke that it's the military, so sometimes we don't have a say. But no, I think we have 2 more years here in Germany, so that would bring us through my oldest's freshman year or 9th grade year, and then I think we're planning on being back in the States permanently after that. So, so I think we're probably looking more at U.S. colleges. I have 2 questions. One, I think, is simpler, perhaps. When you said mistakes that families often make is overloading a year with AP classes, how many would you suggest a year based on your experience?
I think depends on the age and depends on the kid, isn't it? As always, and it depends on what else you're doing. So my son did 1 in 10th, 2 in 11th and 2 in 12th, and alongside his high school diploma, and that's been absolutely fine. I mean, that's been very manageable, and I don't think he's been working, like he hasn't been like really killing himself working or anything. I mean, I hope he's going to get fives in them all. So that's been extremely doable alongside like a plenty of other high school courses. Uh, but I think you could do more. So I know some Americans choose to do more APs. So I think you could certainly do more than that, but that would obviously be more work. So it just depends on what other classes you're doing. So and how hard the child wants to work. So I don't know. I think it just depends. Yeah, not sure. I'm not sure it's a very good answer, but yeah, I think it just depends on the child really. Sorry, we can't hear.
Oh,
Sorry.
fun, it cuts in and out. Or maybe you're just not quite close
Yeah, I
enough
think
to your microphone.
yeah.
Try
Okay.
that. Yeah, that's it.
Here's my second question, and um, I am asking this from a place of learning, but I'm not sure I'm not sure it's going to come across.
It's fine. Go ahead.
So anyway, I sometimes I am a little tentative, I guess, about AP classes because of an experience I had 20 years ago, probably actually more than 20 years ago. So I'm a high school teacher by trade, but I haven't done that in 17 years. But when I was just beginning, I was shadowing some teachers before I went into graduate school and to get my certification. And I was a biology major. I went and watched a physics teacher. I spent a day in his classroom, and he was phenomenal. I mean, just the best teacher I have probably ever seen. Like, I had tears in my eyes. I was just so moved by the students' engagement in this physics class, and they were it was masterful how he kind of arranged the class, and it was incredible. And then uh, a year later, my plans had kind of changed course, and I was back as part of my certification program, and my advisor took us to the same high school I had shadowed at a year before, and got to see this same teacher, Mr. Skinner, but rather than teaching regular physics, which I had seen a year previous, he was teaching AP physics. And I sat in that AP physics class, and I wondered for 50 minutes what had happened, um, because it was completely different from the other physics class that he was teaching. And I said, Mr. Skinner, I said, I just gave him this look at the end of the period, and I said, what happened? And he said, and I'm not trying to be negative, but he said, I hate teaching AP physics because I have this test that my kids have to pass, or that my kids have to do well on at the end of the year. And I feel forced to teach to the test rather than teach to student inquiry and engagement. And that always just stuck with me. Moved on. I taught for 8 years. We had AP classes at the Catholic high school where I taught, but I've always been just like, I agree with everything that you said about, like, it looks really good. I think the challenge can be great for students. Um, but I'm kind of curious how you feel like, especially because you have lots of kids and you've seen all sorts of different classes, how you feel the AP classes compare to, say, regular classes. Because I could also see, like, I'm a science teacher. I could see AP chemistry and AP physics, I don't know, maybe calculus, differing greatly from AP history and AP literature. So I'm curious what your experience kind of has been with, um, I don't know, just the fullness. Because really, I more than anything, I just want a really positive, beautiful learning experience for my students. And how would you say those not your, because I'm not pitting like Demox's classes, but just in general, like AP classes versus regular classes, because maybe they're better even. I don't know, but I'm just wondering.
I think for in the UK, if you want to get into a university, then you've got to do something that's much worse. So I think that's part of the sell. So I think the exam hoop jumping is something that none of us want to do, and it would just be so much better to do stuff that's much more interesting, and to have teachers like the first version of the teacher you were describing.
Yeah,
But the
yeah,
reality is, to get into competitive universities, to get scholarships, to get to British universities, you've got to pass exams. And so the British alternative is a 2-year A level. So part of our sell to the British market is, don't do that, because that's all encompassing. You have no life but this. Do an AP, which is 1 year. So it's actually like a shortcut into kind of a qualification. So I think it'd be much better to do a different course than, the AP, because it's constricted. There's nothing Christian about it. So we do a kind of Christian high school diploma, and the courses for that are miles better than the APs, absolutely. But it's kind of, the reality is, for me, I want my kid to get a scholarship. So we had to do these AP exams to be able to do it. So kind of, I'd much prefer not to have to do it, but kind of that's the reality. So yeah. So I
And
suppose,
I think that, yeah,
sorry, go
it
on.
is, of course, they are secular courses, obviously, and um, we would prefer if they're not, but it's the system that we're in, I suppose, isn't it? But like Helen says, it's, if you use her son as the example of doing one in grade 10, and it's kind of what I think he did, human geography, wasn't it? And often
Mhm.
people start with human geography because it's an easier one. Um, and so it's not really intruding on your whole the way you love to do your individual homeschooling, how, it's so
And
individual to every family, isn't it?
he's a very cool teacher. So
And actually, he's genius because he really thrashes out a whole load of stuff. And I'd say his class is really like that first one you're talking about. He picks it apart and finds holes in all the things and explains why, and they discuss it all. And I just feel like if you're gonna be taking exams because you need these qualifications, then do it with teachers like that are going to really try and make it go to the best of, making the best of it, I guess. And then the fact that you can do another two the next year, and it's only two subjects, and a lot of them will be, the English. I would imagine the English literature. If you've got a good Christian teacher teaching English literature class, um, she seems amazing to me too, and I think that people will really benefit a lot from that. Um, I don't know. It's, yeah. If you need the qualifications, then this is the best way of. To us, we wanted to provide the best way of doing it, kind of thing.
mhm.
Yeah,
No, and thank you too, because I mean, something like this, to have Christian teachers, I mean, in that world, I guess, too,
yeah,
it's a really cool offering.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That human geography class, that's why I'm here, I guess, because that was the one my friend's daughter took, and she was just raving about the
yeah,
teacher. I thought, this man is fascinating.
yeah. He's from Canada. Um, yeah. What was I going to say? Something.
I'm wondering how, like, so your son took one in 10th grade and then two, like, is there like a magic number of APs like that could,
I mean, so for
like,
British,
if
for
you take
British,
one, who
yeah,
cares? And then
yeah.
three, like the
So
threshold, I don't know.
there is a magic number for British universities. The magic number for British universities is 3 or 5. So
Okay.
kind of, there's a couple of British universities that want 5. You can imagine which one's Oxford and Cambridge, and the other ones want 3. So I suppose I think 3 maybe is, a good number.
Okay.
But then maybe 4 in case one goes wrong. So like, one's a sort of safety. But some Americans do like 9. I mean, some Americans, do you know, we actually almost find it quite comical because we're always like going to these AP centers and there's always Americans there. And it always becomes a bit of a joke, sort of, you know, to ask these Americans, so how many are you doing? Like, you know, my kids are like, and some of them are like doing like 10. It's like, oh my
But they
goodness,
must be
you know.
doing that and nothing else, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you
So I,
don't have
yeah,
if you don't have a preference to how you homeschool and you don't have any,
yeah,
you know, you're not trying to form them in, you know, I
yeah,
suppose that's you just it's just
yeah,
tickets then, isn't
yeah.
it?
Somewhere between 3 and 5, I guess, would be a yeah,
A good number.
yeah.
And then at my daughter's school, they have something like I've never heard of it before. That's why I'm curious if you've heard of it, but or if it's just something that they do. I don't know here, or you haven't been in high school in America yet. I've only been in high school here, so they do like an AP diploma. Have you heard of that? I don't know if
Is it called Capstone? Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but yeah, I've heard of it. I think it's called Capstone, but yeah, don't know anything about it, I'm afraid.
okay. Versus an IB diploma.
Right. Oh, okay. Maybe.
They
Yeah.
offer the AP version of
Okay.
the IB diploma.
Okay. Don't know. I'll
I just
investigate it.
learned about this year. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about it yet.
Yeah.
So, but I was intrigued what it
Yeah.
was.
No, sorry, don't know.
And if they did like 9 APs or what
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're just
Yeah.
all your subjects are AP subjects, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'll
Yeah.
find out more about it as we
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
There's a lady called Jennifer that's listening in. Have you got any questions, Jennifer? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're half
She's
listening.
my friend.
Oh, really?
She might
You
be
can
doing
always put a question in the chat if you wanted. Zooms are great for if you can't quite.
Sorry, no questions for me. Sorry, I'm out and about, so just
Okay.
listening.
Great,
Thanks.
great.
Yeah.
I was
But
gonna say I love how you can do that with Zoom. You can be
could be anything.
have one headphone in and
Yeah.
be doing
Yes.
whatever else you need to do.
But do you know, so go on. I was going to say, just do tell if you know anyone else that, you know, any American friends that, you know, are interested in APs, and do let them know. Let them know we're here, what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm passing around your all's contacts,
Thank you.
my friends, and
Thank you.
just as we know a little cohort of people homeschooling
Mm-hmm.
in London,
Mm-hmm.
not doing the British system, but are Americans, but also don't love the international school.
Okay.
Because not Christian at all. So yeah, so but then some of the homeschooling options, which my daughter is doing now, doesn't offer APs. So
Mm-hmm.
it's actually nice that there is an option that you can do APs. I'm actually like trying to think maybe I should get her to do one next year just for her 12th grade year, but maybe not. I don't know.
And Lisa.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I
So you're
think,
tutoring her for SATs right now.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, she's yeah, I'd be keen to work with her. Or, you know, I know she likes English, so, and yeah, the English language one is not it's not knowledge, it's a skills test. So the English language one is I think well, both Englishes are good, but one of them's literature, is kind of books, and the English language is a skills test. And we've had yeah, we just got a teacher that's had some really good results. So yeah, I think yeah, she's smart. Yeah, she was smart in class today. I'm teaching her SAT maths, so Christy. So she's did really well. Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate.
Yeah. And I know your husband spoke to us about this group in London, you know, so we'd be very happy if they, you know, they wanted we've had several interesting meetings with school, you know, we've been to several schools and co-ops, so we're, you know, certainly very available to sort of chat to groups if they're, you know, if we're able to sort of do things or help in any way, or I don't know, alter things to kind of like help it, you know, work out for a group. And yeah, thank you.
Likewise to you, Christy. You've got
Yeah.
There must be a whole bunch of homeschoolers in the military places.
Yeah.
It's pretty. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us here. I mean, there's a pretty healthy group of Catholics, and then there's, you know, a broader group of Christians, and then I couldn't even give an estimate of how many there are.
Wow.
But the American footprint where we're at is 25 to 30,000 Americans. So it's kind of,
Wow.
it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
But like Dana, I don't know. It's just different because then lots of people in the military homeschool. But my husband's also done stuff with the State Department, and we've been at embassies in Rome and in Warsaw. And State Department people do not really homeschool. So it depends. So
Mhm.
we're lucky to have all that to say. We're lucky to have a big community
Mhm.
here. So,
Well,
Especially in Germany.
yes, I mean it's a very unique place to homeschool when no one else.
yeah.
When no one else is allowed.
I was gonna
No
say,
one else gets away with
where
it.
it's illegal.
We had to leave Austria because we were in trouble.
Yeah.
We lived 12 years in Austria. We left in the end. We were getting fined and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't homeschool if you're locals.
I mean, we could homeschool if we had the kids tested at the end of every school year in the local school, obviously in German. Every subject just the same as the kids in the school would be tested. And if they failed one of their 9 tests, 9 subjects, they had to go into school the next year. And that was just the way it went.
Does that still apply though this now?
Yeah,
Completely.
still the same as far as I know. There used to be, we were at an American university campus in Austria, and there was a bunch of homeschoolers there, but not anymore.
Yeah, that's sad. That's really sad.
Yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame. So you're blessed to be able to homeschool in Germany.
That's for sure.
I've warned my kids whenever we're out.
Don't mention
take
it.
more homeschool.
You have to behave. You must behave.
The expression "don't mention the war" is quite real.
Yes.
Crazy. Anyway, lovely to meet you,
Yeah,
ladies.
Arisa, so lovely to meet you. Okay.
Thank you so much. This was really informative. So
Okay. God bless. Thank you.
thank you.
Great.
God bless
God
you.
bless. God bless.
God bless you. I'll send the recording out to people.
Bye.
I'll just cut the recording of the bit before we were chatting.
Yeah, I stopped. I stopped recording.
Oh,
So
you did? Okay.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
I'll send it to just who was on the
Yeah.
list, so it'll go to everybody.
Mhm.
There was some more that will have missed it.
Okay.
So thank you.
God
Thanks for
bless.
coming.
Bye.
God bless you. Bye bye.
Bye.